And here it is, the 4 Bs and the 3 of us, Mr. All In, Dr. Evil 10%, myself, Sir Never Look, and she was here, but she was never here, Mrs. No Show, pod number 38. Welcome back.
Here we go. It's nice to have 3 of us back in the new year.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether Miss No Show was going to make a very rare appearance, because she did threaten before Christmas she was thinking of joining, but yeah.
Like we all discussed, I think that was a bluff when that's bullshit.
Yeah. Did you discuss that last week?
I think it was either before one of the calls or maybe it was on one of the pods, but yeah. What are the odds on the one time that he reckons he was going to randomly turn up and surprise us was the week that we cancelled and moved it to the Wednesday, not the Tuesday? I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe it.
You hear that, Miss No Show? We're calling bullshit.
Calling bullshit on your bullshit.
So it's been a interesting time, right, in the world of Bitcoin. It started last week. It's continuing on this week as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, to start off with, I was listening to your pod from last week, and I suppose my highlight is the fact that I am the highlight of Mr. All In's year last year.
Yeah. It's great. As I said, it's always a highlight to get people into Bitcoin, like, and properly. Like, and you guys weren't in it. Like, if I rewind virtually to like this time last year, or maybe more like 18 months now, I couldn't really share Bitcoin news with you guys. Not really. You would just scroll past it. You might read it, might have a comment. But now, like, you're sharing Bitcoin news with me, and it's just you're on the same level. You've read Bitcoin Standard, you're in, and it's so nice to have people that you know like really well already, but then they just get orange pilled and they're into Bitcoin. It's so good because now it's like we're just on a level. I can actually talk to you properly about inflation, about government, about Bitcoin, and you just get it. And it's up until now, like in reality, I probably had my brother slightly before that, but even he probably it's taken him the last 18 months to really get in, even though he was financially invested. He was largely following me. He's orange pilled himself since. But other than that, I would have to go to Bitcoin events to talk to other Bitcoiners. And I really have to go out my comfort zone and go and meet people randomly. And it was on Twitter. Like Bitcoin Twitter was my home. Now I've actually got some people that I know to chat Bitcoin with. It's great.
Because you have got like family and friends who have invested into Bitcoin. Have you not got any friends who are like proper Bitcoiners as well?
No, not like schoolmates or anything like that. No, none of them have really been orange pilled fully. So
I'm the same. Like, this is the core group, literally, of like people that you actually know, trust, and like Bitcoin.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, it's a small group because in reality, there's not many people in that group anyway. So to then also add on the Bitcoin stuff to them, it's really very small group now. Because it's hard to get Bitcoin, as we've discussed many times. It's very hard to get it. Not just thinking about gains. It's actually, do you know why we're doing this? We're not just talking about a random stock. This is money, the evolution of money.
Just a therapy group.
Funnily enough, my wife bumped into one of the parents, one of my daughter's friends, dads, and it's like, oh, we could have another meetup. I need someone to speak to about Bitcoin. And like, he's a Bitcoiner, but I didn't realize he doesn't have a network.
See, we're all we need to reach out to these guys.
So I'm just like, really, man?
Get it, man.
We need to go for a beer. Like, let's chat Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because he did say, oh, you know, I just don't know what to do. I'm just like, don't sell. I'm like, it'll be the biggest mistake which you ever do when you sell it. And I told him to read the Bitcoin Standard because he hadn't when we last met. So when I see him next, I'll be like, have you read it? And if you ask me about whether he should sell, I'll be like, just read the book. I'll give you some conviction.
You say that. It's interesting you say that as well, actually, because I was watching the series Dope Sick, which is on Disney. Really good. It's about the opioid epidemic in America and how Big Pharmacy introduced it to everyday Americans, and obviously they became addicted and overdosed on it. And the way that people were getting off it is through therapy, group therapy about just talking about it. And to your point, Dr. Evil 10%, your guy needs somebody to talk to so that he doesn't sell. Because if he listens to the masses, which is 99%, it's still a bubble, it's still used by criminals and all of the other FUD, and he'll feel like he's the odd one out, essentially, when really there's others on the other side telling him, come in, talk to us, we're all here, we're for you. Exactly. So yeah, you got to be his brethren and reach out to him.
You do as well. Because the thing is, like, well, the other danger as well, not only may he might sell, he might go into shitcoin land.
He's got some. He says he thinks Ethereum's got some uses. And I said, I think my response was like, it's shit. I mean, I think it's more like it's shit because the kids are around. And he's just like, but you know, smart contracts, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, one, is it decentralized? He's like, it is. I'm like, it's not. Look into the fact that changes have happened and changes are going to happen. So yeah, I think he's got a bit of a way to go to be as toxic as us.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting.
It is, yeah. The thing is, like, I wouldn't even write him off because he's shitcoining, because I think everyone shitcoins at the beginning. You think Bitcoin is the big daddy, but then there's more gains to be had in shitcoins, and you go down there and you just probably need to be wrecked a little bit, but you need a Bitcoiner in your ear just to going, just so you know, go off and experiment if you want. Go and put 10% of your Bitcoin money into shitcoins if you really want, but you're going to get stung. So leave the majority in Bitcoin, and in a year's time, when you've gone through it, you'll know that I was right. And just keep feeding him Bitcoin information, keep feeding him Bitcoin knowledge, a podcast to listen to, a book to read. And eventually, like, people come around, they realize that, oh yeah, these they are just pump and dumps. They are just centralized bollocks. Bitcoin's the real deal.
Well, you can get the Flickr on the blockchain.
Exactly.
Who I felt was the same was Kieran Gibbs as he was talking, because he's an individual in Miami, and you know, he probably was walking around last year's event with not a lot of people recognizing him, but he was there, and he talked about a few people, and he obviously knows people in terms of who to listen to, who to watch in the space, but it didn't really feel like he had many others again around him that he could talk to. So, you know, he was just as privileged to be on that show with Peter McCormack than Peter McCormack was to have him on there.
What was he, 2017, which he went in? So he's been in for a fair amount of time, but it may just be, you know, what he's able to understand, because, well, he hasn't worked in the technology space for one. You know, his day in, day out is coaching football, looking after himself and kicking a football round. So I think there's a bit of a, you know, understanding gap, because he did say, I'm not a blockchain expert, and did say that, what's his name? Hal Robson Canu was, which I was like, it just surprised me because I haven't heard that name before in Bitcoin. So I was like, fair play. He says he knows his stuff. So he's one who's spreading the word round. Is he still West Brom?
Oh, good shout. Might be.
Yeah, and the Wales squad. And then we know there's Ryan Babel. Ryan Babel openly talks about Bitcoin, but he isn't, I suppose, as high up in the echelons as Kieran Gibbs, because Kieran Gibbs is paid with him in Bitcoin. Whereas I think Ryan Babel plays in Turkey, and it is got issues because of Erdogan.
Yeah. And the good thing is that Kieran Gibbs is in, like, the Mecca, or one of the Meccas of America is in Miami.
Well, it's also Kieran Gibbs is former England player as well.
Yeah.
So he knows a lot of footballers. You know, he's early 30s, played at Arsenal for a number of years.
Yeah.
And then played for England. So he's probably got a lot of contacts. So I'm quite interested to know what develops from there. But he probably needs, like, Robson Canu to get involved with a bit more knowledge.
Yeah, he is good. I've actually heard Robson Canu on a few podcasts. It's largely business ones. I've never actually heard him talking about Bitcoin, but he's very switched on. He's a very smart guy. So he's been doing investing, and he knows that his career is short. You know, we mentioned this on the last pod, you know, why sportsmen are getting into Bitcoin is because they have very short careers where they earn a shit ton of money. but then they have to protect that wealth that they make over a 30 to 40 year period. So they're forced to invest it. They're told that, and obviously if you completely trust a financial advisor, who knows, there's lots of scare stories of that. You can lose your money. So they're starting to go, you know what, we're young, we're smart. Why don't we just do it ourselves? And slowly but surely, more and more of them, they're finding Bitcoin. And that was one of my predictions for 2022, which was, I think the next big kind of like waft of Bitcoiners are going to be these rich sportsmen, because they are exactly the target market. They have wealth. They retire super early, like in their 30s, probably max, hardly any of them get into their 40s. So they still have at least half of their life to lead, yet their expected earnings is going to be a fraction of what they did in their youth. So they have to find money, and they're starting to all wake up to inflation. There's no point keeping that 5-10 million in the bank. They know full well by the time they get to 80, that's going to be worth barely anything. So they have to put it into property, into the stock market. And now some of them are going, actually, why bother even having to invest in stuff? Just get paid in Bitcoin. Get paid in Bitcoin, then it's all done for you. Just get paid in a real currency that's going to last the next 500 years. And you can pass that on generation to generation. You don't need a financial advisor. You don't need to be a stock market guru. You don't need to be a property guru. Just get paid in sound money, and it does it all for you. Nice. So
here's a big question for you. Do you think there'll be a footballer in the Premier League this season who takes at least 50% of their pay in Bitcoin? It's actually not this season, this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd hope so. It'd be a nice prediction to say. It'd be a nice prediction to get one in the Premiership getting paid in Bitcoin. That would be nice. That'd be nice. We've got 12 months. A lot happens in 12 months. So
yeah. And a kind of follow-up is, do you think there'll be a footballer, a top footballer? So we're talking, I don't know, Jordan Henderson, Lacazette, that kind of level, who comes out as a Bitcoiner in the Premier League. So we're not just talking about a squad player or, someone who's playing out the last couple of seasons in Miami. We're talking, someone here and now.
Yeah, that was my prediction. My prediction last week's podcast was a high-profile Premiership footballer will come out as a Bitcoiner. I don't know who it'll be, but I think someone will. Because the thing is, it's happening all over America right now. We've got one of our stories here, is an American football player coming out talking about inflation and wants to be paid in Bitcoin. So I think all you need is one, and then all the dominoes fall. So across American football, basketball, baseball,
there's more and more. Is it worth starting off with the American football story?
Yeah.
So I think, wandering into that area. So you posted this, and it was, I'm trying to remember what his name was. He's an American footballer for New York Jets.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley.
It was a series of posts, and very articulate.
Yeah, these
very articulate. Like, it surprises me sometimes. I know it shouldn't do, but you think sports person, not articulate, and this came across, and you just like post after post, you just like, this is absolutely spot on, everything that she wrote.
Exactly. This isn't a guy just doing it for the gains. This is a guy that understands money, understands inflation. He's been orange pilled, and he just knows that, Bitcoin's the answer.
Yeah.
And, that type of person in the American football arena, he's going to be surrounded by all the guys in the locker room, and there's going to be a lot of people looking into it on the back of him.
And he on his own has 500,000 followers. So he's
a fairly big footballer. He's not just a squad filler. Then I don't know who he is.
No, neither do I. Yeah, but what stood out was how articulate he was in this tweet thread. This isn't just someone going, because we see it all the time, right? It's weird when we go into almost boxing, fighting, and like pop stars and rappers and that kind of stuff. They tweet out stuff, but it tends to be it was a paid post, or they're doing it for the very quick gains, and they're going to convert all the money they make into dollars. You just know. Whereas these sports stars that are coming out, and especially this Twitter thread from Saquon Barkley, he gets it. This isn't a paid post. This is him just going, I've discovered that being paid in Bitcoin is the right thing to do, and I want to share this knowledge that I've learned. And he's just articulated it in this big tweet storm. And I'm just reading it going, yep, this is like a condensed version of the Bitcoin standard. You've nailed it. This is it. Congrats. And And this guy, you just know he's never selling. He's being paid in Bitcoin, and he fully intends on passing down these sats to his kids with the intention that they pass a lot of those sats down to their kids. Then they pass it down to their kids. They're just going to keep saving in Bitcoin. And this is what we mean. This is not a pump and dump. It's not a get rich quick. It's not just put it in for 5 years and sell it after that. It's like, no, this is generational wealth. It's the money for the next 500 years. You need to be paid in it now.
And he seems to be raking in the cash from Strike as well through a referral link.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that.
So
this is the thing that we need in Britain, by the way. We need Strike to come to Europe. Once we have Strike in Europe, then I think there will be an avalanche of footballers being paid in it. At the moment, if they go to their HR department and go, I want to be paid in Bitcoin, then you go, are you nuts? Like, no, we're going to pay you in pounds, and you convert those pounds to whatever you want. But in America, because they've got Strike just go in and convert it directly. And so they're getting paid directly into their wallet with their Bitcoin. And it's just awesome. There's literally zero buttons to press for them. And that's what we need everywhere else. We need it frictionless, where they can just get paid in Bitcoin properly, not get paid in pounds, get taxed on that, and then have to then convert it and kind of have a whole load of extra fees in that. Strike obviously have zero fees. So
it's also Cash App's another equivalent, isn't it?
Not really. Like Cash App is like for the everyday man. You can't get paid in Cash App. It's just a bit of a PayPal. It's a PayPal that has Bitcoin.
Okay, because Aaron Rodgers was promoting it, so I'm guessing he's had some, like referral fee for it, because he gets paid part of his salary in Bitcoin, not the whole of it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, what does that go into Cash App? Does it?
Yeah, I think he's promoting Cash App as part of it.
Because it's great. Like Cash App is great for buying and selling and sending around Bitcoin. It's more of like a day-to-day wallet. Whereas I think with Strike, it's more of it's like a genuine replacement for Visa and MasterCard and the kind of entire payment rails. And you just need to get that Bitcoin from a company into your hardware wallet. Whereas Cash App, you're still holding it in a custodian service. So it's still sat on a phone. You wouldn't go on to get paid your wages of Bitcoin, especially if you're getting paid millions of pounds a month like these guys are.
We have seen like a lot of American footballers get interested in Bitcoin, and obviously say they're getting paid or they are Bitcoiners. What's the situation in NBA and what's the other one, NHL? I mean, is there a lot of players who are doing the same?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, there's a few big ones. It's right across American sport. There's probably 5 to 10 right across. It's just the virus has landed. The Bitcoin has landed when it comes to American sport. So, well,
this is it. If some of the biggest players, like Aaron Rodgers, I think is one of the biggest players in NFL, isn't he? Because he's one of the star quarterbacks. So if you can get players like that in, and then in football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, we need some bigger players. Mohamed Salah or someone similar, then that would influence a lot of people.
I think they'll all certainly jump on the NFT space as well for themselves, in terms of it will be
they can just buy art. They don't need to buy a JPEG.
No, a JPEG of themselves that they'll then be able to shill to fans.
Did what's his name, Tom Brady, do something with NFTs? Because he did something. At first he said I'm a Bitcoiner, and then he started trying to shill something.
Yeah, he came out with his laser eyes, and everyone got super excited. And then we realized, oh, he's doing an NFT scam, and and that's what he did. He sold all the NFTs, made millions, and then all the people that bought the NFTs lost all their money. And Brady got rich. So this is what I mean, where there's still going to be those, and I don't count that. Like they have, even if they put laser eyes on their profile picture, and if their next thing is to shill their own coin or to show an NFT, we didn't get them. That is literally someone's come to them with a stack load of money, told them this is a good play. They'll get 50% of the earnings or whatever it is. And they're not. It happened
to Mayweather as well, didn't it? Mayweather was promoting some shit, and he said he was into crypto. I mean, he's trying to shill something.
Oh yeah. He was shelling some Aetherium clone that was literally went to zero, and I think he's still being sued from his ICO promotions in 2017. Like, he needs to really calm down. he any money that comes his way, he just like takes the bag. It's like, yep, I'll do it, and it's like, okay, but yeah, unfortunately, I hope one day, like Floyd, he's a very smart guy, so I think with his promotions, he's not very due diligent on his promotions. I don't think he cares if they're scams. But hopefully one day he actually comes out and goes, yeah, I'm still scamming, but I'm holding my wealth in Bitcoin now. It's like, okay, that kind of counts. Yeah. But at the moment, I think he's still holding all his money in dollars. So yeah, he's not a Bitcoiner.
No. I just posted into the group this guy. You may have seen him before. He's a kid, 20-year-old Sam Morgan, basically private clothes shopper to a lot of the footballers. But I feel like there needs to be somebody that becomes the plug for a lot of these footballers and like stars, because Kieran Gibbs obviously has gone off and done the research himself, but as we know, there's a lot more to becoming self-sovereign. You've got to naturally set up an account on an exchange. We'll use Coinbase as one, and we know through our own experience that takes time and patience. They'll still need to go through all of that, and then they'll need to buy themselves a ledger. Then they might want to become super safe and buy a crypto tag or another form of cold wallet. All of this takes time. But imagine if somebody that was trustworthy, because, you know, this Sam Morgan is trustworthy enough he'll have everybody's sizes, he'll have all their bank account details, and they trust him to be able to buy all the goods in, and then obviously he gets paid in return with a fee on top. It's ripe out there for somebody to be that plug to help everybody with that type of money to orange pill them, as opposed to, you know, them sitting down and reading the Bitcoin standard or going through Bitcoin lessons. They don't want that, but they do want the Bitcoin. So they need somebody to kind of put everything together.
They do, yeah. I think at the moment our boy is Jack Mallers and Strike.
Yeah, he's the type, isn't he?
But yeah, you're right. We need more, because if this 14-year-old kid, they started off when he was 14. I'm just reading this article now.
Yeah.
Like, and he's obviously now very wealthy and like is the go-to guy for all these trainers. Fair play to him, you know.
Everything.
It's amazing that he's managed to build up from nothing to be the go-to guy for trainers for all these sports stars.
Yeah, and now he's on to watches. It's saying here he got some watch and he's trying to sell it for 4 million because it's a limited edition. I was just
nice, man. I love it. He's upselling now. He's got him onto trainers. Now he's going into jewelry, because there's only so much money you can make out £1,000 pair of trainers, right? Now, if you're selling 100, 200 or £4 million watch, I bet there's a nice little bit of commission in there for the lad. So fair play to him. Why not? I
watched a couple of programs and he's actually like got direct links to the likes of Louis Vuitton and Gucci. So he's either going direct to them, or he's got resellers in all parts of the country, and he's doing it. And
fair play.
Again, I just think he needs that. And I think we covered it on one of the shows, whereby it was kind of like a Bitcoin startup kit. And I think this is what essentially everybody needs, a full Bitcoin startup kit.
Yeah, there's been a few goes at that, actually. A few people have tried it, but like you said, how like you want to walk into one of these Premiership footballers, right? What is their starter kit? If you do give them the ledger, the Bitcoin standard, you know, a backup metal seeds thing, then taught them through how to set up a wallet on an exchange and all that stuff. Is that what they want? Is that going to get like Paul Pogba or Lionel Messi excited? It's just in reality, it just isn't. It's they just need to be sat down and just told, look, if you want your inheritance and your wages to work when you're 80, you need to start investing properly. You don't have to think too smart about it. You just need to put it into Bitcoin. just put it into sound money. But that takes a lot of conversations. And I don't know what's happened. Something's happened in America, right? Where these American footballers, basketball players, and baseball players have got it. They've been.
I can tell you why. Because there was a documentary on ESPN, 30 for 30, where it talks about a lot of the NFL players and then the NBA players going broke. It's called Broke at 30 or something. I'll put the link in a second. But they've seen it and they're like, I'm no different to any of those guys. I want to ball out. And they've just, I think it's finally dawned on them. But still, when Kieran Gibbs was talking, it didn't sound like there was, even though there's financial advice, you're still giving your money and go off and do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I remember John Arnorisa went broke because he's giving his money to his agent or something.
He also had a big gambling habit, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the amount of money which he lost at the age which he did, it's just like, well, what happened to the rest of it? Like, were you not investing more? So I think a lot of, footballers, sports people, they just spend. They're like, they get it and they just develop massive spending habits.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but, the guy that's selling them these very expensive trainers and watches, this is the antithesis of what, whilst he's got the ins, this is how sportsmen become poor, because then whilst they're in their 20s and they've just signed their big deal, I saw Jack Grealish like front and center on that article. He's a prime example, right? He's just signed his big deal to Man City. I'm sure he's just taken a big wedge. But the thing is, if you fast forward 10 years in Jack Grealish's career, he's probably earning 90% less in 10 years' time. His career will probably be over.
But I'd say that, a decent agent will set them up financially, surely.
It all depends on your agent, right? And
exactly.
And why trust an agent? Like they're already probably taking 20-30% of everything. Like they're going to continue that. Like you're going to constantly give an agent 20 or 30%. And that's why like the guys in America have got it, because they're just being paid directly in Bitcoin, directly to their hardware wallet. That's it. That's all the financial advice you need, because you're now self-sovereign. No one's taking a cut. No one's doing fuck all. Like you figured it out. You've taken control of your Bitcoin and you're putting it in there. There's no 20% cut going to an agent somewhere, because that's always going to happen. And we've always looked at this. And just as everyone knows about compound growth, compound interest, compound growth on investments, when you've got someone taking a cut constantly, that can have a huge impact on you over a 20 or 30-year period. So if you're outsourcing your investment to an agent or to a manager, that's going to seriously hurt you over a long period of time. So
I think there's a common thread, isn't there, really? Because that's what essentially we're looking at, because our blood-sucking thing is the government in terms of like from a tax perspective. And we've realized we cannot continue to work in the same form and fashion, or not only cannot, don't want to, for the rest of our lives. So what can we do to preserve our wealth? And obviously we landed on Bitcoin. So, but these guys kind of need to do that, or want to do that ahead of time, and should really be doing it. As I've put in the chat, these are the stats right now. So according to a 2009 Sports Illustrated article, 60% of former NBA players are broke within 5 years of retirement. By the time they've been retired for 2 years, 78% of former NFL players have gone bankrupt or in financial stress. Those are high figures. 60% within 5 years, 78% within 2 years.
Yeah. And then the next,
they're in millions.
Yeah, the next lines are really important as well. It's sucked into bad investments, stalked by freeloaders, saddled with medical problems, and naturally prone to showing off. Many pro athletes get shocked by harsh economic realities after years of living the high life. Yeah, that's everything, right? It's everything. Yeah. That's exactly what they're walking into. And those first two are, oh, it's fine. Don't worry, I'll invest your money for you. And guess what? It either gets put into bad investments or someone's scamming you.
Yeah.
And it's, you, unfortunately, as we've always learned, like just as you shouldn't trust the government, you shouldn't trust anyone that says they can manage your money for you. It always, or straight away, it scares me, right? Because of anyone that says they're a professional investor and I'll just give me your money and I'll look after it. If they're not a billionaire, I ain't interested. And there's not a single billionaire out there that will say they'll do it. If I went up to Michael Saylor and went, you know what, Michael, you've been really successful. Can I give you some money and you manage it for me? He'd tell me to fuck off. It's not worth it for him because he's got it nailed. Like, so anyone that says they will do it is probably poor. So why would you give your money to a poor person? Makes no sense.
It is a very good point about financial advisors, isn't it? Like, why on earth would I give my money? Like a financial advisor, they're probably, earning, I don't know, 50 to 100 grand. So it's basically a sales job, isn't it? It's not someone who actually plays the markets. It's someone who sells a product on behalf of the company.
Yeah, you got to look at their incentives as to why they're doing it ultimately.
Yeah. Every financial advisor I've ever spoken to, they're in their 40s and 50s. And I was obviously talking to them in my early 30s, going, I'm out the game. I want to, I'm plugging into your knowledge. And then it just kind of clicked. I'm like, I'm better at this than you guys. Like, what are you doing? You're 20 years in and you're still earning a salary. Like, why the fuck am I going to pay you? You should be paying me. I'll get you out of the game. Like, what the hell?
It is a realization, isn't it? And it is quite funny. Like, I've been slowly getting my father-in-law across the line on this because he's paying a financial advisor. Then he started looking at all the fees, and it's like paying your money, and you get charged fees for paying your money into a product, as well as a cut which they take every year. And I was just like, if you want an ETF, just go on the Hargreaves Lansdowne or Vanguard and buy an ETF. Don't use the financial advisor, because I was like, literally, they were taking like so many % off him.
Yep.
But in order for him to actually meet inflation and meet that, he'd have to be making 6 or 7%, which most investments don't.
Yeah. This is why I'm going to get us out of that pension as well.
Yes,
because
I was going to take that as a massive win. I'm going to try and get that as another prediction. I'm going to try and predict you guys to stop paying into your pension in 2022. Please make it happen.
The book's been finished, by the way. So who stole my pension? The book's been finished, and the guy.
That's a good shout, actually.
So it's written by, as one of my favorite authors, obviously for all long-time listeners, you'll know who he is, Robert Kiyosaki, and a guy called Ted Siddell. And Ted Siddell is a forensic expert who looks at pensions and has been hired by people who typically they crowdfund together. So they'll crowdfund the funds together, and then he goes in, looks at the pensions, typically sues them, makes money off that because they have mismanaged the people's money, and they get their own money back, and then obviously he gets paid as well. And he says you've got to be bullish and look into where exactly they're putting your money. And he uncovered one of what was seen as the gold standard pensions in America. And it turned out that the obviously one of the top guys there was taking backhanders, earned about 50 million in about a 4-year space, comes to trial, and then he committed suicide just before. And then another guy that was involved got about 4.5 years.
Yeah. So straight away I'm like, suicide. Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Was it
a real one?
Yeah, it was a real one. I think it was about.
He wasn't like mixing with the Clintons in the last couple of months of his.
No, I think it was about 71 or so. But he basically says, you've got to. In the end, it said, don't just trust your pension is going to pay you out. Hope is not a strategy.
Yeah, someone like, you just got to realize that like they're holding such huge amounts of wealth that they are carving off huge fees for themselves, and that's your gains. Like, even if they're just taking 1% of the gains for themselves, when you put that over 30, 40 years, that can be hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds of your money that they are carving off and putting into their investment portfolio and not yours. And we're not in the 1950s anymore. The stock market is not locked away behind stockbrokers. Everyone can access it through an app on your phone. Just do it yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to diversify and put it into government bonds, I've got no clue why you want to put it into government bonds, but you can do it yourself. Just do it yourself and don't pay the fees.
We looked into the pension, so it's always been a bit of a mystery. It's just as so much seems to go up because you're contributing. But we had a look at this, and it had cash in it. It had a significant amount of cash. It had bonds, and it had something else which was really bad. And you're just going, this isn't even tracking inflation. You know,
and lo and behold, when you tried to get in touch with them, they didn't respond back.
Yeah, I asked them for a breakdown of all their portfolios and a share which they put into everything. So they got 200 different ones. So I wanted a breakdown of all the classifications. Then I also wanted the returns for the last 20 years on them.
Oh, I love it.
Well, the fact is, if I'm going to continue to invest, I need to understand how it reacts in a normal time, how it reacts in a recession. Because like I looked at this and went, why the fuck is there so much cash in this? Like, we know that cash is going to get attacked. Government figures are 3% per year. So that's a -3 there. And then you're fighting that 3% on that 20% of the pension in order to get level. And then we've got government bonds, and you're going, they're not putting any return on that as well. And then I think property was a very small amount. And property should be your stability bit.
Yeah.
You know, that is the one which will track inflation.
Yeah. Like I must admit, if I was running a pension, I would have most of it just in property and just go fuck it.
You basically have a bit of a mix. You have your stocks, you go for your standard S&P ones, you know, you got some Facebooks and so on, then you go for some Brazilian stuff, Indian, because you got emerging markets, maybe had a minuscule amount of bonds or for whatever reason, just because people love that shit for no reason, big historic reasons. And you definitely have a decent proportion of property, but split between commercial and residential.
What you're going to do when you take control of it.
Yeah, this is like the main reason why I like challenge you guys to like just look at it, because this is now you're doing some smart thinking. Now you're not trusting, you're verifying. And now that you've verified it, you've realized they're talking shit. You're paying them over the course of your lifetime. You're going to be paying them probably hundreds of thousands to manage that money poorly, like worse than you could do. So why would you pay someone hundreds of thousands to manage your money?
Money out though. You can't move it out. That's the problem.
No, you can't. But what you can do is stop paying in. You can stop the rot. And literally, I have a pension that is locked away, and I have literally in my spreadsheet of my net wealth, it's called that title is called stupidity tax.
Well, this is, I suppose, we're kind of going a little bit off tangent here, but the kind of consideration which I'm kind of stuck on is whether you go for a SIP, because it's looking at 40% tax, which you get taken off. Yeah. So it's basically, you go for a SIP. Obviously, the money's locked away till you're 57. But the plan is, like, if Bitcoin doesn't take off, I'm going to be working till I'm 57 anyway. So I need to pay. So that's why I'm trending more towards sorting out a SIP. But then I need to look into how on earth I'm going to do that. But I'm 99% not going to continue with our pension provider at work. It's just going to be SIP or not. And that's then awesome,
I'll fast forward you to the answer, right? It's both. So the answer is both. So what you want to do is you want to put some into the SIP and have it for the rainy day. So that is your replacement pension. You can manage it yourself 100%. You're not allowed to cash it out until you're 57, but put some in. But don't put all of your pension in. Take some of it and put it into the same investments, not in a SIP, because then you have access to it before you're 57, because you never know what might happen between now and you're 57. You could get given a horrible, death sentence from the doctor one day when you're 45, and you suddenly change your mind and you go, holy shit, I want access to my money now. You don't want it locked away until you're 57. So
I think it'll be setting up that and getting it through the appropriate platform is probably how I'm going to do it. And then I need to look at what's behind a SIP, because a SIP is just the wrapper from what I understand. And you pick the product. So the product will be something like an S&P 500 fund, because that's what I think probably will track it best.
Yeah. What you can also do, you can find a load of Bitcoin funds or so there's a load of mining companies, there's MicroStrategy. You can grab all them and put them in a SIP. So in reality, you're getting exposure to Bitcoin's price as well through that. obviously you're doing this as a hedge against Bitcoin potentially failing. So you wouldn't put a large percentage of that in it, but you might as well put like 10% of what your money you're putting in and track Bitcoin as well. And it comes out tax-free at the other end. So happy days.
Yeah, I just need to look into that. Well, yeah, but it is a realization. I think this kind of, we've gone on a bit of a tangent, but I think it ties us into another one about investment. So Bill Miller, who in all honesty, I wasn't very familiar before I watched the video, but I had a bit of a read up on him. So he, your header is he's got 50% in Bitcoin, 50% in Amazon. Not 100% because he did say that he's got cash which sits outside of his main investments for a liquidity.
Yeah.
So not exactly, but he's basically saying I am Bitcoin, Amazon. Then the kind of stuff to the side is just to make sure that I can deal with volatility. So I thought he's quite interesting. I think your comment was the boomers are getting it, which made me laugh. But you know, he is an outlier. He is someone who looks into things. He's an analyst. You know, he's made a career. He's probably made millions, billions, whatever Earth is income is. I think he gave, was it John Hopkins like 50 million or something. So he's not exactly short of money. So I kind of feel that, you know, while we're labeling him as a boomer, he's someone with an open mind. But he's the type of person who will get this.
Well, that's the thing though, is he? Because the reason why I called him a boomer is because he is a guy in his 60s, right? He's grey. He looks like a Peter Schiff. He looks like a Warren Buffett. He's someone that's really made his money in the old world. Yet he has adapted. He's like Max Kaiser to a certain extent is still younger than these guys. I think he's actually a similar age. He just looks younger. But
this is mental.
I think he does a lot of drugs, which somehow has de-aged him, not aged him. But yeah, this guy like Bill Miller, like I would not have expected him to get it. I still think he would have been a guy that would have been, no, I have my majority of my money in property and in the stock market, and then I have a hedge against inflation in gold, and I don't get Bitcoin. Like maybe I have a 1% allocation. This guy not only has an allocation to Bitcoin, it's 50%. That is fucking huge. And literally, when I heard his thing, I'm like, oh my God, this guy thinks like me, because he's only invested in two things, same as me, Bitcoin and Amazon. Admittedly, he's 50-50. I'm 98% too, but I'm younger. So it makes sense. By the time I get to his age, maybe I've switched to that allocation too. Because I think I'm basically Amazon is its cash that goes up, it just beats inflation. I love this, and I have not seen an old traditional investment kind of guy have this type of conviction about Bitcoin. It was.
But if you think it from their viewpoint, it's worked. They've probably hit their goal. They're not looking for that next stage. So if you think of a Warren Buffett or Peter Schiff, they've kind of gone. They've made themselves super rich. They've gone. It works, and they're not in a learning mindset, are they?
But why would this guy be? This guy's needed, right?
Because he's a Chad.
But, okay, so it's basically there's a Chad metric, and
it's a fact he's still he's still in a learning mindset. Is the best way to look at it. Like he may be enormously rich, but he's obviously still got that appetite for learning, and I think that's what it comes down to. Whereas you look at Warren Buffett, what's the stat? But he's outperformed the S&P twice in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, that isn't just by chance. He used to outperform it. So what's changed? And it's maybe because he is so fucking rich, but he actually has lost about that bit of that hunger, and he can't admit it.
Yeah, an interesting one that because I look at his chart, and you've probably seen it before in terms of his wealth and his age, and he didn't really start to get wealthy until he was about 50. And then he started to get really wealthy around about, if he'd have stopped at 65, he would just be somebody with a couple of 100 million and not gone into the billions. But he had the hunger to continue to do so and get really, really wealthy. Whereas at most people's age and time in their life, you know, even we're talking at 57, you're talking about going down as opposed to ramping up, and he just kept on ramping up. So it may be that this is finally his time where he's just saying, yeah, I'm out, and the hunger isn't there anymore. So I'm agreeing with you, but it's probably later than most.
Oh yeah, it's definitely later than most. We're not saying that Warren Buffett's just a bum.
Yeah.
I still think he's trying though, right? Like Warren Buffett is still trying. He's still out there giving commentary. He's still doing investment events. He still has the Berkshire Hathaway fund. He's still trying. He's just.
But is he still the same? Yeah, maybe it's past it.
He's 20, 30 years old, and like he doesn't get. He only invested in Apple about 10 years ago, where most of the gains were gone. But he was still a genius to buy Amazon or Apple 10 years ago. Everyone thought Apple would.
I was going to say, like, Apple's the one thing which has propped his investments up, from what I've read.
Yeah, it's nearly the only thing. Yeah, because everyone thought Apple had topped out 10 years ago, and it 10x'd again. So,
but anyway,
it's only 5% of Apple.
But like Bill Miller, if Bill Miller,
can you address him as Chad Miller?
Bill Chad Miller, yeah. Oh, there's some good.
I found it really interesting. Like, what was about 9 minutes, the video?
Yeah,
that's right.
And he talked about intrinsic value. So he went through the argument about intrinsic value, and he put it across very well. He pretty much dispelled it. Because I can't remember off the top of my head what the examples were, but it was just a great bit, and I was just like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it was like for in his era, the way that you look at investment is what's the balance sheet, how much profit, and what dividends does it pay? And Bitcoin has none of those. And then you suddenly look at it and you go, oh, it has scarcity, it has network effects. It's the next money. It's got a decreasing amount of supply. The demand is just completely getting higher. So as a boomer investor, you have to throw away the entire rule book that you've used to analyze investments, throw it out the window, and you have to start again and analyze Bitcoin fresh. And that is what he did. And this is what a lot of the other boomers cannot do. They just want a balance sheet, they want to look at profit, they want to look at dividends. And what's the kind of yield I can get per year? And Bitcoin doesn't play into any of that. It just looks like a Ponzi scheme when you play it against that on their rule book, and you go, but this isn't the same game that you were playing back then. This is the evolution of money, and it's a completely different asset class that you need to analyze on its own. And fair play to Bill, because he's gone off and done it, thrown his own rule book away that has made him a billionaire, and gone, let's take a look. And not only did he take a look, he analyzed it again with a different rule book that he built up, obviously talking to a lot of very smart Bitcoiners, and then believed in it so much, he converted 50% of his wealth into it. Wow.
Do you know what, as well? I think we covered it last week at the beginning of the show, in terms of you have to understand that when you come to Bitcoin, you've got no building blocks to build upon. It's literally square one, because it's not like anything else. And just having that clean, fresh slate mindset is key to everything, because you want to think of it like, oh yeah, it's like gold, but it's not. Or it's like normal stock shares, but it's not.
I mean, I know you're talking about a fresh, clean outlook, which is definitely the right approach, but there's one building block: money. You need to understand the history of money. I mean, I think that's what held me back from even looking at Bitcoin. And when we had all the shutdown of the economy and the fact that we're going to start printing loads of money, that's when I started reading about money. And then reading Seyfedine's book was when I went, this has happened. This has happened countless occasions. Sorry?
There's a lot of unwiring that needs to be done.
Yeah. But that was pretty much my unwiring when I started looking into it, and when I actually understood what Bitcoin was. And I think that's it does astound me. Like, I wouldn't class myself as one of the most clever people out there, but a lot of these clever people are not getting it because they're going, this is how money is. Money is printed. Inflation is it's pretty much part of the natural environment. And these people are probably, stupidly clever, astrophysics or whatever, but they don't get Bitcoin because they've had it pretty much smashed into their heads every year of their life that this is normal. But some of the points about Chad Miller, he talked about gold. So the fact that gold, if if the value increased, then the mining would increase.
Yeah.
Therefore, it wouldn't just be 2%. Really good point. Bitcoin, can you increase the amount which is mined?
Nope.
Then there's another bit is all types of tech have to grow into their potential. So this is finding its value and thus volatility. So, you know, I absolutely love this interview because I thought you hit pretty much everything on the head. And then gold in 5,000 years, he said, you know, starting with a dime. So let's just go nothing. It started as nothing and it's gone to $1,800. Whereas Bitcoin has been going for, how many years is it now? 12?
13.
13, sorry. And yeah, it's gone from naught to whatever the price is. It's $42,000 behind Mr. All In.
805.
805, you know, and it's been a lot higher as well. So why would I invest in gold? I think that was one of the last things which he said. But generally, like one of my most favorite interviews, just 9 minutes of genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? It's as we've probably discussed last week about people saying it's a pump and dump, is it a Ponzi? As time goes on, we have more and more institutional investors that are properly analytical, very smart guys that have made a lot of money over the years. That they're all finding Bitcoin and applying the same kind of critical thinking and going back to first principles and going, look, why would I put my money in this thing? Is it going to make me more money back? And yeah, I agree. I've never heard of Bill before. I watched this video and I love the guy. I'm like, this is another guy that's going to be potentially another Chad Saylor.
Does he have a Twitter? Does he have a Twitter account?
I don't think he does. I haven't found it anyway.
We need to find some kind of contact and harass him to start posting memes on Twitter.
Yeah. He needs to, start shitting on the IMF and stuff.
Again, to your point, Mr. All In, last week about there isn't a silver bullet within order to educate others to understand Bitcoin, but what the likes of a Bill gives us is more and more reference points to be able to show people, okay, how about this? How about this? How about this? And slowly but surely we can educate others to finally go down that rabbit hole, whether again it's Bitcoin lessons, the learning stuff on Coinbase, Bill, whatever it may be. But we can tell them that it's not a Ponzi scheme. We've defunct all of the FUD, and you're making a sound choice ultimately.
Yeah. Have you ever watched the video of the first follower? Yeah, the dancing one.
Oh yeah.
There's the guy that there's some music playing at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah.
The guy stands up, he just starts dancing crazy.
Yeah.
And he's the leader, like the first guy. But what's important is the first follower. And another guy kind of gets up and starts dancing crazy next to him. And at the moment, they're both isolated. Everyone's looking at them like they're weird. It's like, what the hell are these two guys doing? But because there's two of them now, joining them, it's not like you're joining the weirdo. You're joining a small group. So like 3 or 4 people start to join. They all start dancing weird too. It's like now you have a following. Now this is like the cool group. And so there's like 20 or 30 people all stand up and start dancing with them. And now all the people that are sat down, they're the uncool ones. And now they get up and start dancing. And before you know it, the entire hill is dancing. And it all started with one guy that got up and started dancing. And I think like Bill Miller is essentially, he's one of the guys joining us in the group. You know, we had Satoshi probably was the crazy guy that stood up and started boogieing. And then you got all these guys that joined him. And it's like, look, we're already virtually at a mass. Like at this point, if you're still sat on the hill going, it's not, I'm too scared to stand up and dance. Dude, you're the uncool one. Yeah. You're missing out. Like, we're having a lot of fun boogieing on this hill. Get up and fucking have a dance. But don't be the last one to get up. Like, come on. We're at the early majority already now. We're 20 to 30% of the population in. Come on, just get up and dance, buy some Bitcoin, fucking stop messing about.
Otherwise, have fun staying poor and you're never going to make it.
Exactly. But do you want to go back to last week's where we were talking about Kazakhstan?
Yeah, this was an interesting one that you put in because
I was so sad. Like literally, I didn't realize that Kazakhstan had 18% of the hash power, and the next day they lost it all. They literally switched the internet off, and oh my god, this
it was
is so
very
sad.
what's it? I can never say the bloody word. Authoritarian government thing to do. Like we heard about, I think they did it in Australia around some of the cities to basically stop people putting things across Twitter and other apps. And they did it in Kazakhstan and took down Bitcoin mining as a kind of side effect. Yeah. So it does say to me that the kind of like hash rate needs to be spread across the globe in order to be protected, doesn't it? Then you can't have concentrated bubbles as such in particular countries because of the risk of this. I mean, we kind of would hope that we'd be able to trust El Salvador, but you never know what could happen in the future. US takes it over, or the army takes it over.
Oh, it needs to be decentralized, undoubtedly. Any concentration of mining in any one country puts Bitcoin at risk, which is why like a lot of people would say that Bitcoin is at risk of China taking it over, because they had at 1.70% of the hash power. They now have, it should be 0, but I think still about 12 because there's a load of people that haven't shut down their miners in China. But it was fantastic. And this is fantastic, right? Because as each country seems to establish itself in Bitcoin, the people start to rise up against authoritarian governments, and the authoritarian governments go, fuck, shut it down. And all that happens is Bitcoin sprouts up in all the other places where it isn't yet, and it just decentralizes the hash power even more. Because right now the hash power has never been higher, even though 18% got wiped off last week. All that meant is there's a load of people that had miners that weren't profitable. They plugged them in, and because they're profitable, because Kazakhstan went offline. But this is crazy though, because I must admit that like the entire world is so connected to the internet now, and there's like people will die when you switch off the internet. Like just out and out, they will die. People can't access vital services. They can't contact people. They can't get help. This is crazy. So when a government switches off the entire internet for their country, it's like their last hurrah. Like it's like they're falling. The trick is up. The people have realized that they've printed themselves into oblivion. The kind of the inflation rate in Kazakhstan's gone through the roof. I think the trigger was that fuel went up 100% in one day.
Yeah,
they literally
doubled, didn't it?
Yeah, they doubled it in one day, and everyone just went, "Fuck this!" And like people were breaking down into police stations, taking the weapons out, and going down to their local government and holding. So they just went, "Fuck it! What can we do? How do we stop this?" And they pulled the internet out.
But it's still going on. I think Russia have got in now, which isn't great.
Yeah, peace treaty. Russia have gone in to calm it down, as in shoot a lot of people.
Exactly. I think they've got to let it run, because it's just going to happen again and again. I think it's just the fact that people need to find their own way. I think this like form of government has just run its course.
Yeah, because they're saying that that there's been a number of protesters that have been killed, but equally on the flip side of it, they're saying that 13 members of the security forces had died. So, which I highly doubt.
No, they have. Yeah, they have. There's crazy videos on Twitter of this. I've been digging around in this, and it's insane.
How did you fit it in? in amongst your Shreddies, Bitcoin Twitter, and OnlyFans.
I know. I just a little bit of like overthrowing a government disruption. I just fitted it in there in between the Shreddies and the OnlyFans.
Yeah, I would hope that this is a new start for Kazakhstan, but Russia will make sure the same kind of government gets in. Yeah,
and the thing is that I would very much. We always think that this is happening all the way over there, right? And I do think this is like a pre-warning. Yeah. It's a pre-warning for America. It's a pre-warning for Europe that this is what happens. And because their currency has failed, the people have had enough, and they're rising up. and they're stealing the guns from the government that are imprisoning them, and they're firing the guns at them, and then they are bringing in armies from Russia to shoot them basically and to stop them, because they want to steal their wealth and they just want them to be quiet. Do not think this can't happen in Britain. Do not think this can't happen in America. It just hasn't happened yet. And it can. And if anything, like the last 2 years of what they've done and like the rate of inflation, just imagine what can happen. Like obviously, because we're a richer country, like people have more wealth here, it's going to take them more to get to the point of desperation that Kazakhstan is. But Kazakhstan were already right on the knife edge of kind of survival anyway. So all they need to do is double the price of petrol, and it turned them into...
It's a mixture of price controls, wholesale prices, and then inflation, which, do you know what that's actually happening in the UK? Energy. Wholesale, they buy it in bulk. Exactly. They also had price limits on it, and inflation. And we've had massive increases. We've had phenomenal increases because we've come to the end of a 2-3 year agreement. And yeah, it's rocketed straight up. Because I think we've got 50%, haven't we? Energy inflation.
Yeah, we got 50, not 100. And the thing is, like for the UK, like most people can just absorb that, which it isn't gonna mean people are gonna be robbing the police of their guns and shooting up the government buildings.
We don't have any guns here. They just have pepper spray.
Yeah, the police have a few guns, but yeah, you're right. It's mainly batons and pepper spray. But it will take more here. But I honestly think it's all coming. This is just, if you're looking down the road, like this is literally like just as we've seen for like Bitcoin adoption, like you've seen these very poor like South American and African countries start to adopt Bitcoin. This is the fail of fiat, and we're seeing the smaller countries that are more on the knife edge failing. It's like these dominoes are falling in both directions. So you got fiat failing on one side and you got Bitcoin adoption on the other. And we're currently sat in one of the biggest fiat countries. So we'll be the last to fall, but it's going to fall. And it's not going to be fun when it does. And I never thought they would switch the internet off. And having seen it happen here, I went, oh, right, they will. They will switch off the internet. So by the way, there's a way of making sure your Bitcoin transactions will still go through. And that is the Blockstream satellite. We mentioned this probably about 6 or 8 months ago. There is a satellite that you can buy a satellite, and I must admit I need to buy one. I do not have one. You can get one for about £200. You put it on your house, and you fire the satellite up into a satellite in the sky, and it has a Bitcoin node on it, and it fires back down, and it will process your transactions. So even if the government switch off your internet, you still have access to your Bitcoin money. So you can still transact. You can still, like, if say us three and say another 100 people were all disconnected from the internet, but we all wanted to trade, and we were basically made dark. We didn't have any money. Our bank accounts were frozen. Our internet is off, but we still wanted to like just live. With the Blockstream satellite, you can continue using Bitcoin, use Lightning, whatever you want, carry on with your Bitcoin. So it's crazy, but this is like one of the kits to be a prepper is to have a Blockstream satellite on your house to be able to enable you to send and receive Bitcoin transactions, because you never know when the internet might switch off.
But you never know. And I feel like I totally get you, and I'm with you in terms of don't think that it can't happen here, because when you think that, it probably will.
Have you read the Fiat Standard yet?
No.
So it kind of touched upon this. It's saying, it's inevitable, is Saifedean's honest approach. But with it, you can either let it happen, like El Salvador, doing dual currency, then move across, or you end up with a situation like this where it turns almost Mad Max.
Yeah, I was listening to Safe earlier on today, because it's interviewed by Preston Pish from the Investors podcast, and obviously talking about the fiat standard book and how it replicates the Bitcoin standard. It's definitely one of those that is on my list of books to read, but I've got to get through the backlog of everything else. And so I just finished Who Stole My Pension, and got a few more to cover off before then.
Yeah, I've added that to my read list because I think it's probably one which I need to prioritize before the new financial year.
Yeah, it's good. I must say, on that point, it's one of those where I go, which way will governments go? Do they, as in, like, transition to a Bitcoin standard and do it peacefully, or will they fight it in its a Mad Max type environment where we have to go through a hell lot of pain for them to admit they were wrong? And
there's no doubt that the US will fight it till the death.
Yeah,
it's just whether the UK copies them as usual. You got other countries which are in between. I mean, in between are the ones we hold hope. So Central America, South America, because they're in the shitter as it is. Exactly. So for them to get a get out, that they may just be like, fuck it, let's go there. And they're seeing like the US dollar, like, you know, Bitcoin and US dollar go further apart. And they're going, well, if we convert to Bitcoin, we can actually repay our debt to the US within 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you've got to remember though, if they ever were to shut the internet off, it kind of hurts them as well. Like, I don't know how much pain it causes in a country like Kazakhstan. Apologies to any Kazakhstan viewers and listeners, but you know, it's going to be a lot more detrimental if you switch the entire internet off for the UK.
Oh yeah, they can't fire across their propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this is why I say it's like a last gasp, right? They're virtually at the point of conceding, and there's like literally a military coup at their door, where the people are going to take over and start running the government as they see fit. So this is them, the last gasp. They just pull the plug. They pull the plug and just go, fuck it. We know people are going to die. You know, the financial system is down. Everyone in the country is losing money hand over fist. Like, entire companies aren't functioning. Just the entire economy stops, right? The internet runs the economy. When you pull that out, it's devastating to a country. But this is a government going, fuck it. We're about to be overthrown. Let's just try and get everyone hungry. And once they realize they're hungry, they'll go back to trying to feed their family and stop trying to overthrow us. And then once they've started doing that, we'll plug it back in. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping it's like literally one of these stop gaps.
Yeah.
What do they call it in COVID? Like a freaking
fire break.
Fire break. That's the one. They're literally trying to do a fire break where you literally pull the internet out, wait for 2 weeks, and plug it back in, and you hope it's okay again. Like, switch off and switch it on again. And you know you've lost a shit ton of money in the middle, but you hope that you still have power when you switch it back on. But it's devastating, and literally, like, people will die in that 2 weeks, and they know that. But Kazakhstan have done it, and it's super sad to see, because I wouldn't surprise me that the fact that they've been so kind of progressive with Bitcoin has led to the fact that there's a real big core of people that get it in Kazakhstan, like really, really get it. There's a huge amount of orange pilling going on in Kazakhstan, which has led to them mining huge amounts of Bitcoin, because they're not a wealthy country, but they have to have built up to 80.
I'm glad they went apeshit. You kind of think, what gives them the license to double the money supply? Say it's not going to be over 1 year, it's going to probably be over 3 years. It's just been hidden by the price caps and the wholesale price. So within 3 years, the money supply is doubled. So you kind of go, you know, I'm glad that they're rebelling against it. What gives the government, what exactly they spent double the money on?
Oh yeah.
You know, it is going to the politicians' pockets and their friends and their cronies.
Yeah, so as all inflation does.
Yeah.
Every time they print the money, it goes straight to them.
It's a fair point. Do we want to move? Oops, sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah, no.
I was just going to say, do we want to move on to positive news with everyone's favorite country?
El Salvador.
Yeah, let's do that.
Where I think we're all going to have to move soon.
Yeah, there'll be no internet switching off in El Salvador.
They got volcano energy.
Yeah.
So there's a link to a story.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the story is El Salvador formalizing their 1 billion volcano bonds. Are you thinking of that, or the Volcano Energy and the hash rate?
It's all good in El Salvador.
Yeah, yeah, they're both positive, feel good stories anyway, aren't they? So yeah, essentially looking to provide legal framework to Bitcoin bonds, and yeah, this is a new territory for Mr. Bukelele. But El Salvador are going to be the first and only country in the world to give who have given legal tender to Bitcoin, but also then going to produce Bitcoin bonds.
Yeah, it's good to see him formalizing it.
Yeah,
See it, get it out there.
It does seem like the article is a bit negative towards it all.
Surprise.
I don't know NDTV. I don't know that website. So I was thinking because, well, it's talking about cryptocurrency. I was thinking surely it'd be a positive towards this, but then it starts talking about risk and it starts talking about the rollout of Bitcoin in El Salvador was marked by initial hiccups. And I was just like, you're just trying to take little jabs here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. To be fair, it's not completely false. But I don't think the article was negative. It's just, it does have it says there's initial hiccups, which is true, right? They didn't roll it out seamlessly. But yeah, it's just this is a big story, right? Because it's 20 bills to provide legal framework for Bitcoin bonds. That's a lot of work, right? It probably just shows how much work needs to go into these government bonds. Typically, we talked about bonds at the beginning around.
Could they be in a SIP?
Yeah, they potentially could. I don't know. These ones are probably super, super new, so probably not. But if you fast forward 10 years, they could be. But yeah, I think these are quite specific. So I'd imagine they're probably excluded to most SIPs and stuff. But yeah, these are government bonds, and they're tied to the price of Bitcoin. And it's just formalizing it, and and it just links into the next story, which is where are these bonds coming from? They're called volcano bonds, and there's a link, and again, check the notes. There's a link in here, and they actually have proof of work. Don't trust, verify. They have a whole host of Bitcoin miners set up next to the volcano, plugged into that energy, and they are whirring away, mining Bitcoin in El Salvador, plugged into a fucking volcano that powers the fucking volcano bonds.
I think we should have shared the thread with Chad Bukele and the economist, which I shared into the group. And
who's that? Some guy, who's the economist?
I can't remember what his name was, but he's saying, it was first of all, El Salvador are in an energy deficit, and Chad stepped in and said, no, we're not.
Yeah,
we actually produce more. We just buy some because it's cheaper than some of our energy internally, so we're going to buy cheaper energy abroad. And then it was about 20 different posts underneath going through all this stuff about how they produce energy and how they're going to do it through volcanoes. And the economist said, isn't your volcano inactive? And so you had to explain to them how they can harness energy from it. And then he even created a meme about the economist as well.
Well, he also took the piss out from the fact that you would never harness energy from an active volcano. It's going to burn the fucking down, you dickhead. So of course it needs to be inactive. You don't want an active volcano that's pissing out lava. No, you want an inactive one that has it bubbling underneath. You take the heat out, and
it had me in stitches. I was just like, I can't believe the president of the country is taking a piss out of the economists and also taking him through all the energy, which is country, and all the scaling up which he's doing, as well as the volcanoes, and then finishes it off by making a meme about the economist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bukulele is it's Chad Bukulele, let's be honest, it's Chad.
Yeah.
I think that's worth sharing the show notes, that thread. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's one which you've got to look at.
Yeah.
Definitely that. I think we may have covered that in last week's, didn't we? In terms of
I think that was in response to this one, this volcano bonds. I think there was some economist. Yeah, you're right. There's some like very anti-Bitcoiner guy. Again, he's quite a famous investor, like boomer guy, and he was trying to shit on El Salvador. And yeah, I think he responds to the tweet that we've linked here, saying how this is garbage. The volcano is not even active. Bukulele's a scammer, like Bitcoin's a scam. And then Bukulele just replies with his own tweet thread and just destroys him.
Yeah.
And it's a work of art. It's beautiful. If I want to print it out, frame it, and put it on the wall. It's nice. It's again, I don't want to glorify or like put on a pedestal politicians, because I'm not a fan of politicians, but Bukulele is, oh man, if I have to have a favorite politician, he's up there right now.
Yeah.
What do I move on to? Do you want to move on to Plan B?
Yeah, sure.
And so Plan B is obviously, he's the stock to flow guy who predicted 288,000 Bitcoin last year. All his models got destroyed. They were broken.
I'm losing my house because of him.
Yeah. I'm not living in a house because of that fucker. But anyway. but he's back. And he's got a new chart. And he reckons it's not invalidated yet. And basically it predicts Bitcoin hitting 100K in about 3 months' time. And then it goes on to then hit nearly 1 million. No, it hits 500,000.
It's based upon the previous halvings, though, isn't it? So it's taken a slightly different approach.
Yeah. He's basically said that his previous models aren't wrong. They haven't been invalidated, even though he put out very specific figures to say they would be invalidated if they didn't hit certain figures, and they have been invalidated. But he's now gone, oh, here's a new fresh of it. And yeah, let's look at these charts. And he reckons it's going to hit 100K later on this year. And then going to next year, going to hit 500K. Who knows? Hopium. I'll take it.
I'm looking I think all the anti-Bitcoiners will be looking forward to the crash in 10 months' time.
Yeah, well, he does predict a crash. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Peter Schiff will be rubbing his hands waiting for that one.
Yeah, it'll be hilarious when he's celebrating the fact we've gone from 150K down to 90K, and Schiff's going, Bitcoin's not a store of value. It's like, Schiff, fucking wake up, boy! Like, we're at 90K now, and like we've dumped 60% or something. Like, mate, come on.
Yeah.
You've been doing this from $1,000 all the way up to 40. Like, Schiff has been doing victory laps at $40,000. He's been shitting on Bitcoin since $1,000. We're 40,000% up by now, mate. Come on.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying today. When people actually think about what they're saying, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it is still up."
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly that tone of voice as well. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's still up 300% from when I shit on it. Oh yeah. And it's dumped 50% since then. Oh yeah.
It's like I tried to put it back into normie language, right? So
normie language.
So I put it in terms of like bricks and mortar. And so when people say, "Oh, there's a housing crash," I say, "What? So does that mean the the price of properties is now the price that our parents paid for it. No, they're not. Yes, they've gone down in price, perhaps, but they're nowhere near the 10th of a price that they paid for it when they bought it 20, 30 years ago. So does that mean there's a property crash? No, it just means it's gone down in price. And then they think about it and then they're like, oh yeah. And so the classic. So yeah, if and when the day comes that Bitcoin is back down to $100 or something ridiculous, then there's been a crash. But until then,
when it's matching the price of Dink Donk.
Yeah.
I still think you're on commission.
Oh, you thought I was on commissions for ship, but everyone knows that it's all about Dink Donk.
You got a direct line to Logan Paul, you fucker.
Is he the one who did Stick Dicks?
Yeah. He's Stick Dicks, Dink Doink.
Which one was the classic one with the photoshopped animals together?
That was Logan Paul as well, yeah.
Oh, they were classics.
I think he's got 4 classics now.
No, I think the NFTs of animals photoshopped, which were taken off like Getty or whatever it was, stock images, is like possibly the best one.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, we have a submission from Young MBA on here.
I did read that, and I thought, is he going to attend tonight?
No, he just had a submission. He tagged me on Twitter on this thread that linked me to tinyseed.io.
Yeah.
I had a look. It looks funky, but I don't really understand. I had a look at it, and it's what's it using? Is it hex? I can't remember what it's called now.
It's not using hex, mate. It's not using hex. Basically, there's BIP39 basically has 248 words in it. No, 2048 words.
2048, yeah.
They're all just ordered in alphabetical order from 1 to 2048.
Yeah.
So all you do on this tiny little sheet of metal is you stamp on it where in the order your number is. So if your number is in position 64, you go down the list and there's a number 64 there, so you just stamp it. But if the order is higher up, then you stamp more numbers. So it's a very interesting type of backup wallet, because normally you would stamp the words into your hardware wallet. This is kind of genius, because if someone discovered this type of wallet, most people would have no fucking clue what they found.
Correct.
It would just be a whole host of there'd be 24 words and a load of stamps. And most people would probably just throw it away. Now, I wouldn't assume they would throw it away. I'd still assume they would know and try and hide it and all that type of stuff. But I love this so much. Yeah. It's so tiny. It's so easy to stamp. And and basically all you do is you look up on BIP39, your 24 words all have a number, and you just stamp on this what your number is. And then you have to double check it, make sure you're absolutely fucking correct, because it would be super scary, because I must admit I have triple, quadruple, double, quadruple checked my hardware backups, and that's even when they're written out word to word. So with this, it would be, oh my God, I have to do it 10 times over at least to make sure I worked out the maths correctly. But I love it. It's so simple, so tiny. You can put this into any tiny little slit in the wall, put a thinking down on it. I love this thing.
Yeah.
It's not out yet. It's about to be made, but it's tinyseed.io. I'd go and have a look at it. I've signed up to the alerts to see whenever they announce.
Is there an alert?
Yeah, it says available soon, right down the bottom. Put your email address in.
Yeah, I'm on it.
So,
because who knows how much you're going to charge for it. But
so it's basically making, instead of your words being stored somewhere, so like with the person safe, it is a tube of your words, or rather the first 4 letters. With this, it's basically going, this is your metal sheet. But to someone who isn't in the know, they'd be like, God knows what this means. So it's basically layering another layer of encryption.
Yeah.
So, but what happens if, so you've got a big sheet with the word list on it. What happens if you lose that?
No. Well, the word sheet is standard. If you like the standard list, BIP39 has 2,048 words on it, listed from 1 to 2,048. So every single hardware wallet uses that list of words.
It's like the dictionary, or
it's not like your set of words. It's a generic set. So every single hardware wallet uses BIP39.
And they just have it in the order.
Yeah, so they're all in the order. Yeah. So every single hardware wallet uses 24 words from that list, but in a specific order. That's what makes it so hard to crack. Because if you just had 2,048 words, you'd be like, oh, that's not too hard to crack. I can like crack yours. No, but you need the right 24 in the right order, which is why it takes like 1 billion years to crack any hardware wallet.
Yeah.
So sorry, just trying to get my head around this one. So
I know you're used to this prison safe method that you've been using for the last 12 years. It's okay. It's okay.
So the BIP39, which it orders it in. So, we've put down on one of it's, God knows, we want to go for word 1,239 or whatever. So I would just put in the combination numbers which equals that.
Exactly. So if you had 1,039,
but then the actual ordering of the words is just going to be in alphabetical order.
No. For all the words are ordered alphabetically in BIP39. So it's from 1 to 2,048. But for you, they have come out in a very specific order. So word number 1, say it was that word, 1,039. In word number 1, you would type in a number that added up to 1,039. You type that in. Yeah. Word number 2, you type it in. Number 3, type it in. So even though they're all in a standard order, you type it in the order you were given. And that is your unique key.
One thing though,
so you're basically following a sheet which they give you.
No, not the sheet they give you.
Your seed phrase.
BIP39, right? Every single hardware wallet is based on BIP39, which is a sheet of 2,048 words that rates from 1 to 2,048 in order.
Yeah.
The words that you have right now on your hardware wallet.
Mine are 24 random. Sorry, I was getting at the fact that so it is following an alphabetical order in terms of the positioning for me to then match it to my 24 words.
No. So your 24 words come out in whatever order they want. It's not alphabetical at all. The only thing
not my 24 words. The words within that sheet which you're copying.
Yes.
So that 1 to 2,048 or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's all one. The first word, which is abandon, is 1, and it's always 1.
Yeah.
And then the final one is zoo, which is 2,048. That's not jumbled up. That's what I was trying to get at, just to understand this bit better.
Yeah. Spot on. Yeah.
Okay, we got to the bottom of that at least.
It's a lot of important points in there because it's complicated.
Because I was just trying to get my head around it so I could actually understand that point. Because I was like going, is it my list? Is it my order? But yeah, the fact that my 24 words are in the order, which I know and no one else knows, that's fine. Yeah. So I do think, it's a good idea because it's smaller, a bit more discreet.
Yeah.
Harder to decode. It may put off some people. Some people may stumble across, but anyone who knows anything about Bitcoin. It's still
going to take a little bit of, well, not a little bit of time, a lot of time, just to then kind of think, okay, right, this, even if you're in the know, you've got to then think, okay, you're going to need this, which is the BIP39 kind of diary of all of the words to have that. you first of all, you've got to find it, of course. My crypto tag is the size of a credit card. So it's not that big, but this is tiny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely love it. I want one.
Yeah. I'm going to be front of the queue for one of these. I'm going to order like 10. The thing is, what you should be doing is like spreading your Bitcoin over multiple wallets and spreading it like your keys over multiple ones of these as well. Obviously, you got to really make sure that you're recording all this and making sure you know what you're doing. But this type of thing, you can literally put it into a crack in a wall and just like paste over it and just go, there you go, it's gone. Like this is the type of stuff we need, right? It's just super simple. It's made out of titanium. It will survive like fire and flood. It's awesome. This is, and hopefully it's super cheap. I'm hoping this comes out at like 20 or 30 quid a sheet. And,
I think it might be a bit more than that.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, just the crypto tag was around about just over 100. I want to say 120 or so.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, because I think they've over-engineered it. I think this is a super clever way. Because, well, I must admit, when I first saw this wallet, I went, "Where's the stamp with all the A to Z?" And I didn't have one. I went, "What the hell? Where's the stamp?" And then I saw the numbers. I went, they're just going to stamp numbers. Genius. And I was like, okay. And to a certain extent, you don't even need the stamp. Like, throw the stamp away. They've got earplugs in the thing. Throw that away. Like, I don't want any of it. I just want the metal sheet with the little grid. And I just want to stamp the grid.
It is quite loud when you're stamping.
yeah, it is. But once you've like figured it out, come on, you figured it out, right? It's one of them. So I don't even need the stamper to a certain extent. Like, fuck, I just want the metal sheet. I just want the metal sheet, and I'll get a hammer and I'll get a stick and I'll dent it. Like, I know how to dent a metal sheet. Come
on. Interestingly, though, obviously it looks like you get 2 metal sheets with it. But both of the sheets look like they're saying 1 to 12 on both. So if you've got 24 words, you've got to kind of characterize one sheet as words 13 to 24.
Is it not double-sided?
I thought it's double-sided.
Some answers on a postcard. It would be great if it is double-sided, but
it says 24 plus 1 words. Yeah, front side 12 words, back side 12 words. Yeah,
perfect.
It's front and back. So if you get 2, then that's 2 hardware wallets.
That's so. Yeah, hurry up and start selling them. I need one.
I must admit, if I had like access to titanium, I would be making these tiny little sheets exactly like this. This is it. This is what every single home needs. This is it.
This is what every single home needs, even people without Bitcoin.
Again, this is what you're putting in the Bitcoin starter kit, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
You put in one of these tiny seeds in. You're giving them a Ledger Nano S. You know, all of these little bits and pieces, and you're saying, right, here you go. This is it. You're off.
See, I do still think there's a bit of a gap about understanding about storage of these things because no one says anything because they don't want to reveal their secrets. But I think there needs to be better guidance around it on how to reduce the risk.
Yes, it is a tough one. But fundamentally, I think if everyone was holding their personal wealth in these types of things, then it's fair to say that there would be more like house burglaries and stuff like that. But you just got to hide them well, hide them behind the scenes, have some decoy ones. Yeah, don't trust verify.
What's the +1 word, by the way?
Oh, the +1 will be the additional passphrase that you put on top of your 24 words.
Yeah.
So if you lose your 24 words, it doesn't have to be that someone steals it. You still have your own personal code on top of that.
Yeah.
So you can also encode your your additional word that you create on top of your 24 words to encrypt your seed.
Perfect. Well, yeah, made in Germany. So hurry up, Germans, bring them out.
It looks awesome. I just love it. Like every week we're getting different products that are coming out around Bitcoin. It's going to continue to get better. I have so many like hardware like devices that have backup words. I have massive hammers. Like I have electric lasers. I have so many. I bought like because that's why I wanted to support Bitcoin companies back in the day. I bought all of them for like hundreds of pounds. Like it'd be tens of thousands if I worked out in sats. But I have loads of them all over the place that engraved various things, and I always thought they were too clunky. Like I was like hammering and picking lasering stuff and like putting goggles on, like engraving stuff into.
It's like, look what Gaz is up to with his magical internet money again.
Yeah. I thought I was crazy when I was doing it. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, the average person is not going to do this shit. And I was there engraving, and I've still got those engravements. Like they're, and if anything, now they are actually a security risk to me because I have so many of them. I now need to try and destroy them, but because they're all in titanium, they're quite hard to destroy. So now I have to I have to move my Bitcoin away from those wallets, create a new set of 24 words, because the old set of 24 words are so indestructible. I don't want them to get found, but I don't want them anymore because they're in so many different engraved things. But yeah, this kind of like new stuff that's happening in 2022 now, it just looks great. This is like super easy. And I know like we're always saying it needs to be super easy for someone's grandma and stuff to do. It's probably not that quite easy, but we're getting there. And I think this thing will be affordable. I think this thing will be more like £50 as opposed to £100. I hope.
Yeah, let me go and find out how much a crypto tag is. Let's see.
That'll still be 100 and odd quid, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I was just having a look at the one which I used, the Prison Safe Crypto Steel, and I think it was about 70 quid when I bought it, whereas it's 97 now. So it's shot up in price.
It's inflation.
I mean, you could buy 5 of them, or you could buy a whole shitload of them, if you really want.
This is still showing us €129. However, they include shipping on it, and then this was where I got stung because you have to buy. You get free shipping on orders with 2 or more products. So I bought 2. That was great, but the tax on it because we're now out of the EU. But yeah, I still like crypto tag, but Tiny Seed definitely looks good.
Yeah, looks decent. Do you want to switch on to Shitcoin Corner?
Let's do it.
There's a Dogecoin. Weirdly, I think it's about a year ago where Dogecoin was at its peak, and Bitcoin is pretty much. It's kind of funny because Bitcoin is pretty much flat, weirdly, from a year till now, where we hit 40K about a year ago, and we were at peak euphoria. Fast forward a year, we're still at 40K, and we're at peak fear. Dogecoin a year ago hit its all-time high. Fast forward a year ago, or a year till now, we're minus 80%. Like, they are so wrecked.
That's because long live SHIB.
Yeah. I'm so glad Preston has actually done this again. I've been a big fan of Preston Pish for literally years. He's one of the founders of the what's now known as the Investors Podcast, but previously it was known as We Study Billionaires. And so they were big Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger fans, and also Ray Dalio as well. But Preston has after really researching money, he's such a big Bitcoiner now. And so it's fantastic that he's made the switch.
Dropping
So-
the knowledge.
Over the last year, SHIB is actually up.
It's actually.
Yeah, it's now 0.0000021, whereas
Right.
it started the year at 0.000000001.
You're gonna have to. What percentage was that? I lost count then.
I really struggled to work that one out.
Is it up like 10% or 20%?
No, it looks
100.
like hundreds.
Okay. The SHIB's
So
still up.
actually, it says here, I don't know if this is correct on the Coinbase page. It's up 26 million%. I don't know if that's from its highest or.
You're gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, where are you looking for this?
I'm looking on Coinbase. I'll just drop this into the chat so you can have a quick look. But yeah,
I don't believe you.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm doing
it-
exactly the same.
it was worth. It was worth fuck all.
Don't even trust you.
It was worth fuck all in January, which is why it's up so
Oh.
much.
Yeah. So yeah, fair play. So SHIB went from like nearly zero, but yeah, because its top was only in October 2021. So it's down 80% from then. But if you go back a year, it's still
It's
up
up.
about 500% or something crazy. Because to be honest, it didn't even exist back then because those like the Dogecoin bullshit hadn't really kicked off. So once Dogecoin kicked off, then Shiba Inu kicked off. And,
Shiba's just Dogecoin built on Ethereum, isn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, it's just another dodgy ass coin. But yeah, I mean, when I was reading this before the pod, I was saying to myself, well, what do people expect when they invest in Dogecoin? So it's a meme coin. The whole point is it's a representation of fiat and putting it into crypto and going, look how funny this is. It's got no advantage. It is just fiat. It's not decent. Well, actually, it inflates, what is it, by 3% every year?
Oh man, way more than that. I think when we analyzed it, it was like 70 to 80% a year inflation.
Yeah, so it's just pointless. So, my kind of question is, has anyone actually invested in Doge seriously and
No.
not just for some random gains?
It
Have
was
they
all-
actually gone, this is the coin, this is going to bring us back to the next renaissance?
No, it was just Dogecoin to $1. That was all the meme was. And Dogecoin started at a fraction of a cent. So when it got to 20 or 30 cents, that was incredible. So everyone just thought Dogecoin to $1 was guaranteed. And it got to about, I think, 70 cents. That was the top. And ever since then, it's the only way is down. Because that was Elon on Saturday Night Live talking about Dogecoin, saying Dogecoin to the moon. But once a celebrity is on mainstream TV talking about your shitcoin, that's the top.
That's the top.
All the buyers are already fucking in. And that's exactly what happened with Dogecoin. It's been down only since then. Since Elon went on Saturday Night Live and said Dogecoin to the moon, every single person that brought after that is 80% down.
Yeah.
And even with Bitcoin and its recent resurgence, Dogecoin has not done that. It's still down. No one's buying Dogecoin. Everyone's selling their Dogecoin to buy some Bitcoin. It's dead. It's gone.
What ones have seen them go up, a bit? So we saw, was it 1 or 2 months ago? Bitcoin went up. Did any other coins follow?
I don't think so. And that's the thing. Normally, the shitcoins also rise when Bitcoin rises, but no, not recently.
So I'm just having a look at Ethereum. and it looked like it had a bit of a dip in September. Then it was back up in November, and then it's dipped. Ethereum wasn't that bad actually. Looking at it,
in recent months, like from the coins that I track, they've all been like 100% in line with Bitcoin. Like whatever Bitcoin does, the shitcoin does, just slightly worse on both ends. So if Bitcoin dips by 10%, the shitcoin would dip by 15, and then if Bitcoin goes up by 10%, the shitcoin goes up by 5. It's like it kind of follows it, but just worse. So you're just worse on both angles. You go down by more, you go up by less. It's but I'm not tracking them all. Whenever I log into Coinbase, very occasionally, whenever I look on like the highest performing assets, there's always one sat there with like 90% gains for the day. But it's like whatever. I don't even click into it. I don't even look. But Dogecoin's been the big one, right? Dogecoin was the big story of 2021. Where is it like the people's Bitcoin? Like Elon was trying to make it that, like it's more environmentally friendly. It doesn't have giga chads in it. All that kind of crap. And basically Bitcoin is flat for the year and Dogecoin is 80% down. So make your choice.
Just looking through the top losers and gainers. So gainers today, or let's have a look over the last month. So top gainers, something called Ribbon Finance, 97% up.
Ribbon Finance.
yeah, that Ribbon. Anything that you'd recognize? Aave, 25% up in the last month. Remember Polygon? I remember getting some free Polygon with Bitcoin lessons. That's been up, and I think that's been about it, really. Yeah.
So that's even all the shit coins that have got like bollocks to pump it, like because a lot of those coins, right, they have zero liquidity.
Yeah.
So all it takes, right, for me to get to the top of that, which would be super easy for me to do, right? Let's say I had a couple of million in Bitcoin gains. All I need to do is convert those Bitcoin gains into my shitcoin, and I come to the top of Coinbase gain charts.
Yep.
And what that will do is when you sort the list of the shitcoins by gains this month, my shitcoin comes out number 1. So a load of idiots go and buy my coin. So provided if I buy £4 million worth of my shitcoin, provided I can get a load of idiots to buy at least £5 or £6 million worth of my shitcoin, I make money.
Yeah.
It's so that's why those random shitcoins like have good gains in bad months. It's just market manipulation. They're not decentralized. The liquidity is pretty much set around 10 people. So it's just, yeah, it's just silly.
I'm just having a look at my wallet on Coinbase, and unfortunately, Compound hasn't mooned because I'm still one penny.
Why have you got Compound? Why have you got Compound?
I think it's when I got in a free lesson, and then I traded it, and obviously something shifted, and I was left with 1 pence.
Oh, yeah, I've had that as well.
And it's like I want to get rid of it, but it's too low for me to trade.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah. I'm not buying any, because it's almost like I want to buy some so I can sell it to get rid of it. But then I'm like, I'm not buying any of that.
You're stuck with it for life.
Yeah.
I know. Along my £15.79 in my Coinbase account.
That's free money, man.
I can't do any of the lessons. I need to email them or something and ask what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I got a lesson today actually for $1. It was like, I think it's Graph or something.
Okay.
And it literally $1. And they asked me one question. I clicked a random button, got the dollar, converted to Bitcoin. Never thought again. But it was $1. Like what? I'm like, whatever, 70p. think I got like a couple of hundred sats. I'll take them. Thank you, Coinbase.
What's interesting is crypto.com's CRO coin is in here, and over the last month is minus 17%.
Yeah. That's a very interesting coin, that CRO one.
Yeah.
They are pumping the fuck out of that coin.
Yeah, proper true pump and dump coin, I would say. In the worst way possible as well.
Yeah, they're infecting my favorite sport, UFC, with putting crypto.com over everything.
Yeah.
And it's all just designed to make everybody just buy a shit coin that they can dump on them. It's just everything. And literally even we went through the process, right, where it was like, let's refer each other, let's get access to it. But even then it was like, oh yeah, you can get like, I can't remember what it was, like $20, $30, $40 worth of CRO. I was like, all right, fine, I'll get that coin. I'm just going to convert it straight to Bitcoin and send it to my own wallet. They wouldn't let you do it because you had to then put something like $300 or $400 worth of your own money into CRO before they let you convert it. And I'm like, no, I'm out. Thighs left it. I'm like, I'm not doing any of these things. I'm not buying your coin. Fuck off. But I can see a lot of people will. So I can see the gains being there potentially, but
there's still a bigger wave of people to come in, and they've got fancy marketing ads, and to your point, they're all over UFC, they're all over F1, they're all over, I think, PSG as well in terms of sponsorship. So there's still more people to come.
Oh, there definitely is. And at the moment, they're at like 40 cents a coin. And I think we said it in the group, right, where I was like, I don't want any part of this. And I think we were like, yeah, this is the top. And but then I just went, yeah, I know it's going to hit a $5. It's just, I know it's going to 10x, and it probably will, right? It probably will. But I just don't want to be part of it. I just don't want to play the game. It's bollocks. They're literally manipulating people into supporting their football teams or their sports teams in whatever way, wanting their referrals, and you having to buy a shit coin, and you have to keep it there for a number of years before you can cash out. This is just a whole, it's like an engineered Ponzi. It just literally is.
Yeah, you said it.
So I just, even if I can make 10x on my gains, I'm like, I don't want them in this way. Like, I want people to buy Bitcoin. You can buy and sell it whenever you fucking want. Do what you want. Like, if you hold it for 5 years, you're 10x. If you don't, fine. But I don't like coins like this, which are very restrictive, and you have to hold him. They're only useful within the CRO network as well, right?
That's it. Yeah,
anywhere
you've got
else.
to keep it in.
So like, I don't think I could even find another exchange that even supported their token. So let's even just assume that you make a lot of money in that token and you want to sell it. You have to sell it on their network, and they might just go, nah, pause, stop selling. You're dumping the price too much. Just don't do it, man. It's not decentralized. A centralized shitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin.
100%.
Okay. Last story of the evening. I can feel we're flagging. Got to 10%. Nearly fell asleep, man.
Oh no, I was trying to work out why I can't get any learn and earn.
Right.
He wants that $1.
I want my $1, bitch.
I think there's been about 10 different lessons, so I think it's about $10.
I think you're blacklisted.
I must be skipping videos too quickly.
It's because you're racist.
Yeah.
I'm not one who's signing up for Zion.
It's because you're not non-binary. I signed up as non-binary.
Did you actually?
Yeah. I sign up for everything as non-binary.
Yeah.
I get VIP treatment everywhere I go.
I'd imagine that Zion wouldn't have anything like non-binary on it.
And then they don't. They're not dumb. But our last story of the week, breaking news. It is that Cash App has enabled Lightning Network payments.
Yes. What does this mean for the average person listening?
Basically, what it means is we've suddenly gone from Cash App being essentially that 100% custodial. So if they were moving Bitcoin from one wallet to another, you're having to trust them behind the scenes to move your Bitcoin, because they weren't doing it on layer one. They were just moving it as PayPal would, which is, or what's the network that moves all TransferWise? So TransferWise have loads of pounds, dollars, yen, euros, and they don't move the money anywhere. They just change around who owns what. And that's exactly what Cash App were doing until now. With Bitcoin and enabling Lightning, they are actually moving the sats from one account to another, actually using the Lightning network. So this is crazy, right? Because it's suddenly changed from being, layer one, where it takes 50p per transaction or potentially £1 per transaction to move Bitcoin from one address to another, where Lightning is essentially free and happens instantly. This has now happened on Cash App, and Cash App is currently the #1 finance app in the United States. They are number one, and they now have access to Lightning. So you can now send Bitcoin genuinely from wallet to wallet, not custodial, genuinely sending the sats from your wallet to someone else's. They arrive there instantly, basically free, and you can export those sats straight away as well. So the sats that you receive, take them out, put them into your hardware wallet. This is crazy. This is the #1 financial app in America. You can now send Bitcoin around, 0 fees, super simple. This is Jack Dorsey's company. He obviously resigned from Twitter about a month or 2 months ago. He's a massive Bitcoin maximalist. He knows he needs to make the Bitcoin rails as smooth and simple as possible. This is his start. I love it. And once people realize this is what Bitcoin is, then they will just start using it. I love it.
Yeah. Cash App isn't available in the UK yet, is it?
No, I actually did download Cash App in the UK, but it didn't seem to work. Like, it was a bit broken.
Yeah,
so, no,
I did, because it's on the net. Oh no, sorry, the App Store, but it didn't allow me to do anything either.
No, so it's only in America, but it's massive. So if you're in America, this is massive, because there's a lot of people. Like, if you're a young person in America, when you go to like the bar, the restaurant, like, someone pays the bill, and then you'll just Cash App each other, like the amount. Whereas now you can just Lightning network someone. And before, if you were to send Bitcoin to someone, it would cost you 50p a transaction. Now it's free. So now it's suddenly like, oh, Bitcoin's free to send to people, and it's the #1 financial app in America. This is big.
And this just shows the advancements of the space of how it's happening, isn't it? Things are being made easier for everybody to adopt. And, if I guess it's probably moved virally from people saying, oh, just download Cash App, like WhatsApp was back in the day, pre-Facebook takeover. Because do you remember back in the day when you actually paid, I think it was like 69 pence for WhatsApp?
Yeah. I remember some people I know were like, I'm not paying that. I was just like, use it all the bloody time, you idiot.
Yeah, it was worth it.
I just paid. I went, fuck it, I'll pay. That's good value. If I have to pay every year, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think this is where your argument around Zion, around if you're not paying for the service, then you are. You are the service and the product. And I just went, yeah, I get that completely. So wait for Zion to launch. I can actually see what's going on. And then I think there is a good chance of Pain.
Yeah. Right. Well, there we have it. Pod number 38. Good to be back together in the year 2022, boys. I am Mr. Sorry, Sir Neverlook. That's how tired I am. Maybe we'll cut that. I don't think we do any edits anyway. We don't really do any edits these days, so we'll take two. I am Sir Neverlook. He's Mr. Okay, so
Or you just like jink around on the other side of the screen, but it goes back in, really fuck it up.
You'll be doing some editing here. So there we have it. Pod number 38. He's Mr. All In. He's Dr. Evil 10%. I'm Sir Neverlook, and she was here, but she was never here. Mrs. No Show. Peace out.